Ava next to me.
All right, you're live.
Cool. We are live. Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas Lee Ghostdog Jr. I am Burns Paiute, and I'm Oglala Lakota, and I am the We Are Native Project Coordinator at the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board. And I had the awesome honor and privilege, and I'm so excited to host and moderate this Power Hour brought to you by the Native Wellness Institute, but also an awesome, amazing partnership we're doing with the Native Wellness Institute as well as the Center for Native American Youth. And today joining me, we have an awesome panel of young Indigenous leaders and college students. And so, I just want to also give the Northwest Wellness, or the Native Wellness Center, sorry, my apologies, the Native Wellness Institute, as they have, this is the 177th Power Hour, which is just mind blown to me. Again, 177th Power Hour that has been going on with great special guests, great panelists, great discussion. So without further ado, I'm going to let our amazing panelists start their introductions. But before I do that, this Power Hour is special because each one of these panelists is pursuing their higher education. So they're all college students. They're all currently going through the process of college, but what makes this unique is they're going through college in a climate that is, unlike any other, right? We have COVID-19 across Native America. So these young college students are handling that, and we're gonna pick their brains, get some insight on how they're navigating this time with going to school, but also making sure they're safe with the COVID-19 that's going on right now. So, but before we do that, one more thing, because it is college edition Power Hour, I had to do it. I asked our panelists to wear their college, so I gotta throw up the Oregon State Beavers. I know here in the Pacific Northwest, it's either, or specifically Oregon, you're either a duck or a beaver, but I graduated from Oregon State, so I got to give the Bees a shout out, go Bees. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But with that, I will start our introductions. So panelists, I will just call on you what I see and who I have next to me, but just please give us your name, your tribe, where you're calling in from, and rep your school, show us your shirt you have. And then I just want to hear this question in this act, that's kind of a good starter for introductions, and I call it roses and thorns. So a thorn is part of a rose, but it's part of a bigger picture. So the thorn is just let us know one challenge you have going on right now. It can be small, it can be big. And then let's go with a rose. So end with something, more on the positive note. So the rose is something you have going on in your life that's really positive right now, and you're loving it. So I will pass it to Christy Wildcat.
Hello, Christy Wildcat, Hinana. Hello, everyone. As Tommy said, my name is Christy Wildcat. I'm Northern Arapaho, and I'm calling from Laramie, Wyoming, home of UIO. So that is my school, University of Wyoming, where we are the cowgirls and the cowboys here. And for my thorn, I would have to say all of my classes are online, so I don't get to be on campus like some students, so that's unfortunate. But my rose is I'm currently in my master's program, and it's going swell. I mean, I just took my first exam and I got a way better grade than I thought I would. So it's going good here.
Awesome. Great to hear, and congrats on the exam. I know how that goes. All right, Tava Sanders. Let's hear it, homeboy.
Tongo Thomas Sanders Jahajipkados. Hello, my name is Thomas Sanders. I am Muskogee Creek. I'm calling in from Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and the college I'm repping today is Haskell Indian Nations University, where I'm attending. The Thorn right now is just really just the schedule, the time, busy 24/7, college classes, then I'll automatically, go straight to work. And then the Rose would be, just having that free time within all that busy schedule I'm having. So, just really thankful for that.
Awesome. Shout out Haskell. All right, next, let's go with Shay, homegirl. Let's hear it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shaden Herkshan. I'm 18 years old. I am calling from Centralia, Washington. Woohoo! Go Blazers. I am 18 years old. It's my first year of college. So, a thorn that I would have is like oh, I forgot her name, my bad. But all my classes are online, and it's just really hard adjusting to a teacher because I did take classes online my senior year, but it was at my own pace, and this is just a different feeling. And also not being by my family because I'm up here alone now. I just have my cat. That's kind of upsetting to me, but Rose would be my team. I'm actually on the women's soccer team up here, and they're really supportive, and my whole community is just amazing, and I love it here. So I'm doing pretty good now. I have that community with me.
Awesome. That's dope that you're on the soccer team. Let's go with Isis next.
Hi, I'm Isis Sanchi. I'm Yakima, and I'm calling from White Swan, Washington. I go to Heritage University. I don't have any merch, so I just have to tell you guys. A thorn would be my math class. I'm like struggling really hard right now in that class. But a positive is that it's finally fall time, and that's my favorite time of the year. So life is good.
Awesome. Yeah, math wasn't my strong suit, but you'll get through it. I promise you'll get through it. Just keep grinding. Let's go with Ayana.
Hey y'all, my name is Ayana Lynch. I'm a member of the Hiawassee Pony Tribe. I'm calling from Pembroke, North Carolina. I go to the University of North Carolina in Pembroke, and this is my shirt. This is our new shirt for all the Native students. Got them. It says Indigenous, Brilliant, Brave, and then says UNC Pembroke at the bottom. And it's my favorite shirt right now, but we just got a new one that might be my second favorite. And my thorn is that we're doing hybrid classes for the most part. So I'm struggling to like balance my work, like figure out what I have to do online, because even though we're meeting in person for actual class, all of our work is online. And then my rose is that since I'm on the cheer team, we're finally going to start cheer season soon. And I'm happy about that because I've been bored not being able to go to practice or go to football games because we're not even going to have football until the spring.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a dope shirt. Might have to make a good trade or something. All right, let's go with our last panelist, Rachel.
Hi guys, my name is Rachel Arthur. I'm an enrolled member of the Colville tribe, but I reside on the Coeur d'Alene Indian Reservation. I am currently in Spokane, Washington at my apartment. I am wearing my Eagle Nation shirt. I go to Eastern Washington University, currently pursuing my master's of business administration. I just graduated the last spring with 2 bachelor's degrees. But my thorn right now is I'm so used to taking in-person classes that the adjusting part to completely online is a little bit difficult for me, and like trying to like make my schedule around put my schedule around school and work and other stuff that I need to do, and like balancing all my homework for all the classes. But my rose on the other hand is that I have a lot of support and a lot of people I can go to for help.
Awesome. Thank you to all the panelists for your introductions, but also sharing, the rose and the thorn, because like I said, the thorn is part of a rose. In bigger picture, the rose always outshines the thorns, but it's also something you have to acknowledge on a rose, right? Is the thorn that comes with that. And You know, we all faced our different challenges. We all have our daily struggles, but you know, to hear where, you know, everyone was mentioning, you know, finding a support system, whether it was the soccer team, your friends that you have going there. So that's really awesome, you know, to hear, and I'm glad, and I just want to again say thank you for sharing with us. So the first question I'd like to kick off, and it was a little answered, but I think I'd like to just hear a little more. But you know, what's the biggest differences between this year, where you're at now, and last year? I know there was a few mentions of having to take online classes. So, you know, if that's the biggest difference, you know, just share a little more. And I know we have a couple panelists that are new to college. So, you know, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you were expecting, you know, your senior year going into high school and, you know, amped for college, but now you have a different, you know, experience. And so what were the differences in your experiences that you thought about last year, if that makes sense? And I can repeat it after when I call on you, but yeah, I just want to hear the biggest differences from where you're at now and last year. I'll go with Christy.
So I think the biggest difference is definitely being online and then being in person last year. I mean, even with like games and all of that, and I'm on the track team up middle here at University of Wyoming, and it's definitely kind of weary when you go to practice. Like, we have to go through a whole screening before we even get to practice instead of just showing up meeting, and it's really kind of iffy because everyone's wearing masks, as they should, but that's just different, along with like, we can't go to the library on campus, we can't go to the gym, we can go to the gym, but you're gonna have to schedule an appointment, you have to wear the mask the whole time, and you can only be there for an hour at most. And so it's different things, it's like the small things like that, like you can't just go to campus and read a book on our Prexy's pasture that we have here. You have to do what is called a campus pass, where you have to do symptom checks. You have to get your temperature checked before you can even step foot on campus. So I think those are the biggest difference, all these precautions, instead of just being able to go onto campus and, you know, do what you got to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, the precautions are awesome, and it's a step in the right direction. But yeah, I just miss sports so much. Definitely the football games. It's a good experience, but we'll see how it goes when football comes back in a couple weeks here.
Great. Thanks for sharing. And I'm glad that your campuses is taking the initiative to, you know, practice safe, you know, the safe distancing and all the precautions that come with COVID. So that's good to hear. And one thing that stands out to me is, I don't know, I guess it's kind of cool. I mean, make an appointment to the gym, you know, it's like, I mean, it could help you hold yourself accountable, right? Like, oh, let me check my schedule. Oh, I can't do that, I got a gym appointment. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. So let's go with Tava, and you know, this is where I'm really excited to hear your insight, because like I said, you're one of our panelists who wrapped up their senior year last year, and you know, before the COVID hit, you know, had big plans, you know, just being you know, working with you as a We Are Native ambassador. I know you were super psyched on lifting and continuing your lifting career. So share with us, you know, what's the biggest differences, or what was your expectations coming into this year compared to where you're at now?
I was expecting, you know, to, you know, actually live on campus, you know, socialize and all that. You know, my brother was telling me, you know, all these great memories he had his first year. And so I was super pumped, you know, to move on to campus and all that. Then COVID happened and never got to set foot and everything, set my dorm up. So it kind of hurts a little bit, because, you know, I hear a lot of people, you know, you get the most experience, the most fun in your like first year of college. And so, and then I guess just the in-person teachers as well, you know, since we're all online, it's kind of hard, you know, it's not the same, you know, online and in person. So yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah. So hopefully, in the future it changes, so I actually finally get to step foot on campus.
Yeah, and I will tell you firsthand that I'm completely, you know, just the yeah, I'm feeling for you, man. I feel bad just because it is supposed to have that experience, but I know you're a strong person physically and mentally. So I think I guarantee you that you're making some things up here and there to get through it. So definitely my thoughts are out to you for the unique freshman experience. But I guess looking on the bright side, you get to grandkids or whoever. My first year of college was during the COVID crisis, so that's kind of positive, I guess. But yeah, thank you for sharing. Shay, I think you're kind of almost in the same boat as Tava with finishing up your school career, excited to continue higher education, and now the pandemic hits. So what are some the differences or expectations that you thought where you're at now, and let's hear it.
Oh, okay. Just like you said, like I was really upset that I'm not getting like the college experience a lot of people got, not being able to be on campus and not being able to go to classes, not being able to see everybody, like see how many people are actually at my school, because I don't know. I've only seen my soccer team. And it's actually kind of hard because we have to quarantine while we're up here. We're not allowed to go out and hang out with anybody. We have to stay in our rooms and go to practice and class, and that's it if we have in-person class. And I had 2 labs and that was it. And it's just kind of hard. Just like Christy was saying about our season too, like my soccer season, I'm not having it in the fall, I'm having it in January, and that's kind of sad because it's going to be way colder then, and I'm just used to having it right now. But an upside to that is we do get all this training before a season to connect as a team, and it's really awesome to do that. But it's still just kind of sad because I was really hoping to play soccer. And again, like we have to wear masks too, like when we play, and it's kind of hard to breathe sometimes, but it's the precautions, it's like necessary, but still it's just kind of hard.
Yeah, for sure. And same thing as Tava is definitely, it's hard to imagine your first year at college, going through what you're going through. But again, it's great that both of you have positive outlooks about this situation. And I think that's what you almost kind of have to do, because I think that can really easily dictate your feelings and your mood, right? Always, what's that saying? Don't cry over spilt milk. So the milk's spilt, and are you gonna sit there and kind of soak in it, or are you gonna look at positive light, right? So it's really awesome to hear that you both are doing that. So and I'm sure you had time to be upset over the spilt milk, but it looks like you're making the adjustments, which is awesome to hear, and you're still in that positive light. So thank you too for sharing those insights. Let's go with Isis. How about you? Biggest differences from where you're at now and last year?
So last year I was still in high school. I graduated a little bit early, so I did some online college classes at the college I'm going to now. So I got the in-person experience, I guess you would in your first year. My college is pretty small. There's no dorm, so it's not like the cool life everyone gets to talk about, but I got the experience of working with my fellow classmates. So the biggest difference this year is that it's online. We are doing in-person classes, but I personally don't think it's safe enough for myself to be there, so I haven't gone. It is tough, but I think it's doable. And like my thing is like you just have to keep the end in mind, like remember like why you're doing it and who you're doing it for. And if I don't do it now, then when will I ever do it? So just got to keep pushing through.
Preach it. I like that. And I like how you say, you got to remember who you're doing it for, right? You're not just going for yourself, but in sense your family, your relatives who might not have the opportunity to go to school. And I really like how you're really taking your safety into account first, right? And you're making sure you're safe, you're okay, and having that choice to join in person, but because you want to keep yourself safe, not only yourself, but like you said, your family members and who you're doing it for, but you want to keep them safe. So I think that's really cool. I've been cooped up in the house almost since March, and I got a bike, so I've been biking, but having that interaction is super tough. And there you are with a choice to see people engage or be safe, and you're like, you know what, I'm taking the initiative of being safe. That takes a lot. That's really awesome to hear, and I'm glad you are doing that. So thank you for sharing. All right, Rachel, let's hear it. I know you've had quite the busy year. It sounds like 2 bachelors going on a MBA. So let's hear it.
I would definitely say like the biggest difference from this year and last year, my last school year, is the consistent support that I've had, like with friends, like like being in person, whatnot, having the ability to just like ask your professor like in person type like questions that you're wanting, or like being able to go to the library with some friends. It's just like that was like stuff that like motivated me and like helped me be consistent. So that's like another struggle that I'm like trying to work on, is like consistency with my workload and whatnot. So like like last year I was able to go to the library when I wanted to with some friends, and like go to the gym and whatnot. But yeah, that's like one of the biggest differences between this year and last year, is that consistency of like being able to have like your friends with you, and like being able to like help you get motivated. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And back in my day at Oregon State, going to the library, with friends was definitely kind of motivating as well, to get your stuff done together and hold each other accountable, really. So
Yeah.
I definitely feel you on that experience. But you're an amazing young leader, so I know you're gonna pull through and you're gonna do some amazing things. So thank you for sharing. All right, Ayana, I know you're on the cheer squad, so things are a little different, for sure, with no football. So let's hear your differences from where you're at now and last year.
For me, kind of like what Rachel said, not being able to hang out with friends like you really want to. Like, I'm the kind of person, like if I see you, I'm gonna give you a hug or something, but like I can't hug people, so it's like it's really weird. You get somebody, and you're like, you go in for a hug, and you're like, oh wait, can't do that, elbow bump, and I mean, being on the cheer team is more than just like go to the football games and stuff. We're missing out on all of our events we have on campus. We were supposed to have like welcome events for freshmen that were coming in, and we couldn't do that. We still haven't met, like I still haven't met my new teammates on the cheer team yet, except for when we all went and got tested for COVID and ensure that we start our season. But we're still waiting to get a meet date so we can meet on WebEx and decide like when we're going to start practice and everything. But we have to do daily screenings, which is really weird. So instead of us just like waking up like last year and being like, okay, I got practice, or I have to go to weights this afternoon, it's like, oh, I have to wake up and I have to fill out this questionnaire about where I've been and who I've been around, and I don't have practice this afternoon, so I need to study more, do something to fill my time. And I mean, I think that's like the biggest difference for me, because I love cheering, and I mean, it was a way for me to like relieve my stress and like not think about school so much. That was my little outlet, and so not having it is kind of like, I mean, it sucks.
Yeah, that's especially when you have to think about something other, when the activity that you're doing is definitely a stress relief, lets you kind of let loose and kind of recalibrate yourself. So having that completely out of finding other things, which actually kind of ties into my next question, is the consensus is online, right? Having to go through online schooling, online classes, but and I like to see the glass always half full, even if it's a little less full, if that makes sense. But given the online situation and practicing the safety measures and being at home, what have you been doing with your time besides schoolwork? What's some activities that you're able to do, whether it's extracurricular activities like Christy and Shay having the soccer team? Is there something you all picked up as a hobby? I know I got to give my homeboy Thosh Native Wellness Institute a shout out. I got some kettlebells, so I see his Instagram, and I'm trying to get the kettlebell swings and working on that. So, that's something I picked up at home. But Christy, what, with the extra time you've had, is there any, what have you been doing?
Yeah, with the extra time, I actually picked up an assistantship through the university. And with that, I've been able to dedicate my time to a lot more research. So I've been doing research. The research I've been doing is looking up different and more efficient ways of micro nuclear batteries and how they can provide more efficient energy for rural native reservations. So our focus is actually up in Alaska. And so that's what I'm serving as the cultural consultant kind of, since there's no natives on the board or this whole committee. So I'm stepping in as like the new voice, say like, okay, with that, or like keep mind of this. So that's what I've been doing, along with trying to keep in shape, since we don't have a season, not for a month or two. You still got to keep in shape or you're gonna be super slow. So I've been focusing on just research and like the physical fitness, because fitness is everything.
Nice, dang, that's what's up. I pick up the hobby of kettlebell, and here you're leading the charge with something super innovative in Alaska. Dang, that's awesome. That's super cool. Tava, my man, with some of your free time, what have you been doing? And you pick up any new hobbies during this time?
I've actually started picking up basketball again. I haven't played since 8th grade, and just I went in there and just picked up the ball and feel like I never left. And so right now I'm even playing on a men's league right now, which we'll be playing later on tonight. So we'll see how that goes. And I've also got into coaching a little bit. I coach a little kids, 7 to 10-year-old soccer team as well. So we'll see how that goes when we have a game Saturday. So yeah, that's how it goes.
That's what's up. Getting those buckets, huh? Oh, I see you. It's like riding a bike, huh? You just pick it up and keep going. Take you 1 or 2 warm-up shots, but cool. Shay, what about you? I know you're probably pretty busy with soccer, but is there any other, activities you've been doing with your extra time?
I've taken up like writing, like I kind of like write poems now. Like I can't really do anything. I'm supposed to stay in house because I take walks, but I don't really do anything else besides like soccer and school practice. So yeah, nothing really.
But you have your cat. I know
Oh
cats.
yeah, I have my cat and he's pretty.
You could,
Oh, I was talking, but I said yeah, I have my cat and he gets pretty wild sometimes, so he's a handful.
you
Yeah,
try to
that's it.
teach him fetch or something. That'd be kind of
He
cool.
does fetch. He fetches on his
Oh,
own.
oh yeah, mastered that one. Okay, that's awesome. Isis, what about yourself?
Honestly, compared to everybody else, I'm so boring. Other than school and work, I just homeschool my little brother. Well, not homeschool, he's online, but same thing. He is in 1st grade, so that's a little bit of a struggle right now. But other than that, that's all I do.
That's not boring. That's awesome. You're helping out. I know if I was a older sibling, I would probably not, but I probably would. I would, give them some crap here and there, but that's not boring. That's awesome. You're helping out, especially, since it's your sibling, you're making sure they're on the right path. So, that's awesome. Kudos to you for, stepping up and doing that, that's awesome. It's not boring. I promise me, it's dope. Rachel, what have you picked up? I know you're also super busy, but anything you've been doing with your free time? Oh, you're on mute.
Besides work and school, because I work 8 to 4:30 and then I have class from 6 to 10 p.m. like Monday through Thursday. But when I do have free time, I definitely try to work out, like go to the gym with like my friend, And I play volleyball too. So like on weekends, like there'll be like a tournament or something. So I'll try to play. That's pretty much all I really do. But yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Ayana?
I've been using like this time since I don't have cheer practice, I'm using it to study more and focus more on my schoolwork and study for my TEAS test so I can get into nursing school. I'm also taking time to bead more. And I also work on campus with the Center for Student Success as a peer mentor for freshman students. And I also work as the American Indian Learning Community Ambassador. So I work with Native freshmen on campus as well.
That's awesome. That's so cool to hear. It's so sweet. Like, you know, all of you are doing something that I think is just amazing. And, you know, especially since it's your quote unquote free time, you're taking an initiative to all have, you know, something activities to keep you busy during this time. But also, you know, it's okay not to do anything. You know, I think that's kind of, you know, something that can also come into play, because I think, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, young people, they're young, they can do this, they have this going on, or, oh, they're okay, they don't have to do this. But, you know, it gets a lot. It gets, you know, some pressures that you put on yourself and from families. So, you know, just, it's okay not to do anything as well, you know, whether that's, you know, taking care of your mental wellness by just taking a nap. I know people like to joke about naps, but, you know, I love naps, and it's, you know, it seems like you're doing nothing, but in reality, you're kind of recharging yourself, right? So, you know, having just to sit down, think, put on music, create new playlists is also all okay, you know, and acknowledging that, you know, we don't really have to do stuff, you know, during this time. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise, right? That it can be a nice kind of pause with a fast-paced life that you might have if, you know, during this time. So definitely want to put that out there. So I think let's kind of have like with, you know, we had like a little serious tone with the differences and some free time. But I know, again, back in my Oregon State days, I love food. I still love food. Tava knows that. I always ask him about the Oklahoma barbecue down there. I still remember it when I was down there and I had the barbecue. I had a few barbecue spots. So, and I kind of, it's a little hard, but what either is or was your go-to college meal? So my go-to was down in Corvallis. It was called Local Boys, and it was, you know, kind of like a Hawaiian spot. So I loved the teriyaki chicken, the rice, the teriyaki beef. I would scrape some change from the couch cushion to try to get a meal there. But that was my go-to. So what was, you know, what's your go-to meal? And it could be homemade too. It doesn't have to be, you know, somewhere you go. I just like to hear it. So if it, you know, kind of closed, or if you can't do it because of the current situation, what was it? I'm interested. I'm a foodie. I'll put that out there. Let's, Christy.
Ooh, that is a tough one. Here in Laramie, we have this food truck called Double Doves, and oh my goodness, best wings around. So I would have to say that is my go-to, but they're food trucks, so they're only around certain days. But ever since I learned how to cook my grandma's stew and fry bread, that's have been my go-to. If I have time, I'll definitely go for that stew and fry bread for sure.
Awesome. And if you see my head down like this, I'm just taking notes on your food spots, because I might have to test them one time. Tava, what do you have for us?
I think my go-to meal will probably be probably some homemade fried chicken strips and mashed potatoes and gravy.
Dang, he put the emphasis on homemade too. I might have to, next time I'm out there, I'm gonna have to hit your line and I'll have to test out these homemade chicken strips. All right. Shay, what about you?
My go-to is like tacos and Mexican food. There's this dank taco truck right down the road from me. They have dollar tacos and they're so good. And then there's also one that's called Tacos and Tortas. They have some bomb tortas. So yeah, if you're ever in Centralia, hit me up and I'll take you.
All right, all right. I like it. I like it. Isis?
I'm with Shay. My favorite is Mexican food, like tacos, anything. On my res, we have a lot of taco trucks in Toppenish. So if you're ever around, like any one of them is good.
It's about lunchtime, right? Dang. All right, Rachel, what do you have for us? Oh, Rachel, you're on mute. Sorry. I
Are you doing that?
sorry.
Sorry. So in my little college town, there's this like cute little coffee shop that I go to a lot to study in, but the avocado toast there is to die for.
All right, all right. All right, what do you have for us down in North Carolina, Ayana?
Okay, so I have a go-to meal on campus, then I have a go-to meal when I go home, and a restaurant when I go home. Okay, so I love Chick-fil-A. So on campus, I'm always going to Chick-fil-A every Monday. I get to use a meal exchange there, so not having to spend my own money and just use my meal swipe. That's my favorite place to go on Mondays. And if I don't want to eat anywhere else, I might go there twice a week. It just depends on how I'm feeling. But when I go home, there's a pizza place called Victoria's, and it's like a little hole in the wall, but it's the best New York style pizza. And then when I'm at home, I like to eat my mom's chicken and dumplings. It's really good. Some people call it chicken pastry too. So however y'all.
Holy, Ayana, she's got the plug. She's got them on point. She's got like the speed dial ready to hit them.
My mom already knows when I come home next week, she's cooking me some chicken and dumplings to bring back.
Oh, dang. That's when you ask her for extra and then you say, I need a to-go meal too. You gotta stay up with those to-go boxes because you never know. You know, when I was in college, it was all about, oh, do you want these leftovers? I'm like, yep, I'll take the leftovers. Awesome. That's like I said, it's about lunchtime. So y'all made my mouth water hearing all the food choices. But so let's get back into some more questions just about your experiences with college in higher education. So I really want to know, as an Indigenous student at your schools, your institutions, do you feel supported as an Indigenous student? So again, I just want to hear your insights. Hopefully you can share. Anyone out there listening, if you have ideas, we'd love to see them in the chats. But as an Indigenous student, do you feel supported? If you do, how do you feel supported? Is it a club? Is it there, a special designated building? If you don't feel supported as an Indigenous student, what could these institutions maybe do to help to make you feel that you feel supported there, or others, if you have an idea of how another person could feel supported at, a higher education place. So Christy, love to hear from you.
Here at the University of Wyoming, I think we're definitely blessed as Indigenous students. We have an RSO, or AKA recognized student organization called Keepers of the Fire, which is specifically the Native RSO here on campus. So it's phenomenal. We're an actual club where we have a president, vice president, secretary, and we meet every week via Zoom now. We actually have a meeting tonight. But we have that, so it's pretty cool because we do Indian taco sale. We put together events. We're actually getting together a resolution to send to the president for Indigenous Peoples Day. So we do different events like that, and it's really cool because it brings together all the Native students. We even have non-Native students a part of it who are allies that come and join us for support. But we're also blessed because we have Native faculty. I mean, we have the Native American and Indigenous Studies program here. So we actually have a house called the Native American Research and Cultural Center, or Native American Education Research Cultural Center. Holy cow, that was a mouthful. But we just call it the center, the Native Center. And it's a house where it houses all of our faculty. It has classrooms there, a computer lab. and it's all for Native students. It's built like this home for Native students. I mean, all students are welcome here, but that's where we host everything. I mean, not right now due to COVID, but I think the University of Wyoming has definitely supported their Native students. I mean, they listen to us when we have concerns. So I have to say we're pretty blessed in that aspect.
Hey, shout out and kudos to University of Wyoming. That's awesome. And I really like how you said allies. You know, allies are more than welcome to join, and you do have allies joining you know, your groups, your clubs. That's really awesome and very exciting to hear. Shout out to University of Wyoming. Tava, what you got?
I don't think I can top that, but like I said, you know, I never got to set foot on campus, you know, really get the experience. So I really don't know, you know, what kind of clubs, you know, groups, organizations they really have there, but I'm pretty sure they have a lot there. So I'm pretty sure we do feel supported by the school. So hopefully when I go up there, hopefully to get involved as much as I can. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome. And knowing your involvement in other stuff, I know you're gonna get involved, and I already know that. I already know you're gonna seek out clubs, and you're gonna do your thing. So I highly encourage you to. Shay, same thing. I know you're kind of in the same situation as Tava, but you know, any insight?
Like I do feel supported by my school. At the same time, I don't, because there's not a lot of Native American students at my school. Like I actually got told I'm the first Native American student on the women's soccer team, like the first one ever. So that's pretty interesting to me. Like I've never had anybody, like I even talked to some like girls on the team. They say they've never like played with another Native American on the team, like on their team before. Like they went to school with them, but they never played with them. That's just kind of weird to me because I've never had people tell me that. Um, and it's just I haven't been on campus yet, but what I've looked up, they don't really I haven't seen any like clubs or anything for Native American students specifically, so I'm gonna have to look more into that. But there is a program I have called TRIO where they do help like low income and first generation students. So it's like a lot of like students in my like so like not in my like in my like zone. I don't know what to call it, but they're like we connect in that way. Like we can like connect in that way. But it's just not having another Native American person around like to connect with because they know like the hardships and stuff.
Awesome, Ian. Thank you. And I really want to, you know, give you mad kudos for your honesty. And, you know, I think just having a support system, you have all of us here as panelists, everyone out there watching on, you know, whatever social media platform they're on, you have their support. And that's what, you know, I love about Indian country is we put a lot of backing into our young Native leaders. So just know that you have so much support, Shay. And I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you, you know, once this kind of gets going or, you know, with the COVID stuff and having it be safe to do so, you know, I'm going to challenge you to start that Native club at Centralia or, you know.
That's my plan exactly. That's literally my plan. I was gonna go and do and talk about and ask.
That's my challenge. That's my challenge to you. And you always have my support. Let me know if I could do anything to help all of us. So thank you for sharing. Isis.
So not that I have really been on campus this year, but when I was kind of doing hybrid with high school and college classes last year, I attended a doctrine of discovery type thing in our like commons area or whatever. So that was pretty cool. And so like little things like that my school does makes me feel supported. And then like just being home, like my college is on my reservation, so being close to my res makes me feel like little secure, and that like yeah.
Awesome. That's really good to hear, especially, you know, since your school is on your res and you know, having that support system as well. That's, you know, thank you for sharing. Let's go with, oh, you guys kind of switched up, so let's go with Ayana.
So I think UNCP is doing a good job at supporting like all Native students as well as the other students as well. We have NASO, so the Native American Student Organization, and then we also have Native Strong. And they've actually been hosting events online. So WebEx is kind of like Zoom. I don't know if any of y'all have used that before, but we actually had with my job, I get to organize different events for Native freshmen, so I get to help them, and then it's open to all other students on campus as well. And so like I organized a WebEx call with Miss Indian World, and we talked about the importance of voting as a Native citizen and a bunch of different things. And then they also next week, it's either next week or the week after next, we're supposed to register to have a meeting with one of our Native faculty on campus and just have like a drop-in session and say how our semester is going and everything. And then we'll get $5 to go spend at Starbucks. So they're making sure we're getting goodies and shirts and all that good stuff that we would typically get if things were normal like last year. I mean, it's still not the same. Freshman students didn't get to do what I did last year. Like we went on a trip with Native Strong. We went whitewater rafting and we went kayaking and all this other stuff, and they didn't get to do that. So they're trying to make them feel as welcomed as they can and make them feel like things are as normal as possible, I guess. So I really appreciate that.
That's great, and I really want to give you kudos as well as for your involvement. Still in making sure the incoming freshmen have some sort of experience like you had, which is a positive one. And that's awesome. So definitely want to give you mad kudos too. And
yeah, a lot of them are getting frustrated because they're like, I'm so tired of everything being online. I want to do the things that you guys got to do. Like I have to meet with them once a month, and so a lot of them are either asking me how many students on campus have to get the virus for us to all go home? Like, I want to go home. And some of them are like, what did you get to do last year? Like, I want to know what I'm missing out on and stuff, or what are we going to do next month? Or what are we going to do this month? I'm telling them like, our school, we're celebrating Native American Heritage Month early since we're going to get out earlier. Like we're not having a fall break. So we're going to end school like the first week of November and be out until January. So we won't be here for November. And so I told them, I was like, you can get involved with that. Like I was like, here's the WebEx link to meet with the people to help plan everything. Like get involved as much as you can, even though it's not the same. It'll help your transition better when things are back to normal.
Yep, and you just can try to support as much as you can with what you have, right? With the resources you have, with the limitations. So keep up the great work. Again, we're behind you. A lot of people are behind you. So awesome involvement. Rachel? You're on mute. I got it this time. There you go.
Before I start talking. Yeah. So I think Eastern's doing a really good job at this. Like Ayana and UNC, we have a NASA Native American Student Association that has it's like a group of Native Americans and whatnot, like making change around the university. And I think that the university is doing good, especially during this time, like with culture appropriation with like Halloween costumes and whatnot. Like they're doing a really good job across all their social media platforms to kind of make students aware of that, and kind of prevent it from happening, and just educating them on why not to dress up as a Native American princess or whatever as for Halloween. But all the major social medias that Eastern has, they're really trying, they throughout the whole year, not just around this time, but throughout the whole year, they do a good job at representing the Native American voice and whatnot.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And it's really, it really makes me happy to hear that, for the most part, all of you feel supported, throughout your academic journeys. And, there are some challenges, whether you can't meet in person, whether there's no established clubs. But, I think that's where the challenge comes in, it goes back to Shay's, once you can do so safely, or even, start the groundwork of organizing, some friends or, other natives in the area to start planning. So when it does kind of go back to normal semi, you have a plan and, you know, you're ready to hit the ground running, right? So I challenge, you know, especially Shay, you start the groundwork, you know, start reaching out to people in the area. If there's tribal communities in the area and everyone out there, I will say, you know, I think honestly speaking, one of my biggest regrets when I was in college was not being involved. I kind of just put my head down, got on my longboard, went to class, and longboard home. So, you know, I think just making sure you get involved. That was one of my biggest regrets, that I didn't get too involved, and I wish I had, like all of you. Oh, sweet, we have a question that actually came in, and it's a pretty awesome one. So, panelists, when did you plant the seed as a goal to go to college? And do you have mentors and or elders who inspire you or motivate you on your journey? I saw Shay, you kind of lit up with this question, so I'm gonna go to you first.
Oh, I've always wanted to go to college when I was younger, just because like I've never seen that the native like who went to college. Like obviously now when I'm older, there's a lot more people my age that go to college. But when I was younger, there wasn't a lot of people who went to college and like succeeded in a sense. Like they graduated and went on to a better job. And I just want to be that example, because there are a few people I kind of forgot their names. Like I don't know. Like I didn't forget their names. I just don't want to, like, I don't know if they want me to say their names right now, but they have like inspired me a lot. And a lot of my mentors are my youth delegate group. I'm part of the national, oh my gosh, Northwest Portland Indian Area Health Board youth delegates, and they all help me and they inspire me, because a lot of them have gone to college and they help me like in that sense, because they tell me what college was like. They tell me how they got support, and like they are my support too. And a lot of I think my mentors are like Tommy, Selena, Paige, all those people. They really help me a lot. I've been with them for a few years now. Same with Tana, actually. She really helped me too when I was younger. And yeah, it's just really, I want to be that example for other people, like they have been for me. That's what I want to do.
Oh, thank you, Shay. That's awesome. I really appreciate those words. That made my day. Thank you so much. Christy, what about you? What was the seed or the eagerness to go into higher education?
It actually started with my parents. So my parents went and graduated from Haskell. So I was one of the OG Haskell Rascals there. I remember that if they would take turns with their friends, and I would actually go to classes with my parents. And when it came time for graduation, I remember Haskell made a little diploma for me, and I was able to walk across the stage with my parents. And I think that's exactly when, college was for me. And I just remember my uncle, Dan Wildcat, I think he was a professor then, but he has a different role at Haskell now for sure. But he was a professor and he did higher education. All of my relatives are in higher education. So I think just straight out of the gates, I was like, I know I want to go higher education. As for my mentors, I was blessed with Dr. Angela Jaime. She was the director of our Native Studies program, but she recently just moved up to Canada. So they're lucky to have her. But she took me to New Zealand to show me the Maori the culture there. She made sure, pretty much became, I called her Mama Duck. So she became a really big part of my life and said, hey, you can do this. You're on the right path. You're doing great. And she kept me going, along with Dr. Nikki Michael. She was a professor I had freshman year. So these two powerful Native women who have their doctorates really pushed me to keep going in higher education, hence why I'm like in my master's. So I think I owe it to my family and to those two women to really, show me the way and show me the light of like higher education, and they just give so much support there.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so good to hear. And I like how you gave the shout out, the original Haskell Rascal. Oh, that's good. That's good stuff. Awesome. Thanks, Christy. What about you, Tava?
Honestly, when I actually made a commitment to go to college, was pretty much beginning of my second semester. But the mentors, And the elders who inspired me to motivate, pretty much my mom and my dad, you know, they never really went to college. My sister was the first in my family to go to college, and now my brother is, and now I am as well. So, and then in my youth council, you know, the older members, you know, that went on to college, you know, succeeded in what they were doing, and told me, you know, the challenges, you know, the adversity of it. And then, say my advisor, Nancy Mason, she did a big part because she got me involved in this and opened up to so many resources, even to you, Tommy. That's how I got involved in this. She brought me up, you know, to do this. But really, I just got to give big thanks to them. You know, my mom and my pops, you know, pushed me to, you know, take that next step because, you know, they never really took that next step. So they're making sure we all did.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Tava. Appreciate those words. You guys are just also amazing. Isis, what about yourself?
So my mom and my grandma are both alumni of the college I'm going to. So school has always been in my future, whether I wanted it or not. Now I'm really happy that I decided to go to college because honestly, in this kind of time, I don't know what I would be doing other than going to school. And for my mentors, like my mom and my grandma, obviously, and then just like people from my community, you know, like being at a basketball game and like an elder comes up to me and asks me like where I'm going to school and how's school going. Like, I don't even know these people sometimes, but the point that they care just like makes me feel good. And like when I said doing it for your community, like those are the people that I think about. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. It's cool to hear that you do have that community support, right? Like someone you don't really know but is in your community is, you know, asking you about school and you're like, what? I didn't know that you knew I was going to school. But you know, it's like that support that is, you know, that's why I'm telling you, all of you amazing panelists, that you have so much support out there, whether you know it or not. So just, you know, keep that in mind and keep pushing. Ayana, what about yourself?
I always knew that I wanted to go to college. You know, my parents, they were both first generation college students, and they were the first out of all their siblings to go to college. I'm pretty sure my dad's two younger sisters didn't go to college. He was the only one out of the three of them. And then my mom was the first to go to college, and her younger brother, he just finished college not too long ago. And for me, like, my mom raised me, and she raised me like her and my dad were like, you need to go to college because if you look around you in your tribal community, not that many people went to school. Like my mom's parents, they didn't go past elementary school education. And then my dad's parents, my dad's dad went into the military, and then his mom only did like a year or so of college. And so like it was a really big deal for them to go to school. So it's a really big deal for me to go to school. And I pushed my younger brother. I'm like, you need to do good in school, in high school, because he's doing way better than I was in high school. Like, he's very smart. He's fluent in Spanish because he's been learning Spanish since kindergarten, and he doesn't realize how like important that is and like how big of a difference that can make with schools selecting him and jobs that he can get. And like I've always told other people, like younger people, I'm like, even though you're not old enough to do certain things right now, you're the future, so you have to make good decisions for yourself and for your community. And if other people see you doing well and going to school, and like I want to be a nurse, so if somebody sees me going to school and then becoming a nurse, they might be like, oh, I want to do like Ayana did and go to school and become a nurse, because you don't see that many nurses or doctors that are Native, at least not where I'm from. Like, I was the only Native American at my high school until my brother came. And so that's why I really wanted to come to UNCP, because it was built for Natives by Natives, and it's in a Native community. So I think it's really important for people to see other Natives thriving so they can get in their head like, hey, I want to do that too. I want to be like them.
Great, awesome. And thank you for, you know, those insights. And it's great to hear that spark that made all of you pursue higher education, whether it was being a Haskell rascal or, you know, wanting to find more Natives in higher education. But I also want to say, you know, that college in the way it's perceived is like it's a cookie cutter, type. It's ingrained in us, right? And it's okay if you, if you graduate high school and you still are undecided in what you want to do with life, So I also want to make sure and, stress that as well, is that, maybe you need some time to think for yourself, whether you want to, get into higher education or if you want to change career paths. And that's completely okay. And I heard this and it's always stuck with me that the most dangerous native is an educated native. And that can be interpreted like how you want to interpret education, right? The education could be higher, college institution. That education could be knowledge from your elders, your community. That education could be a trade school, something you love as a hobby, turning it into a career. So that education is open to interpretation, right? And so that's why that always really stuck with me, that the most dangerous native is an educated native. And whether that educated native piece is school, anything you want to interpret it to. So I always had that stuck with me. And I know we're reaching the top of the hour. So I just want to kind of close out with the last question and shout outs. So the last question is, it's kind of a, you can choose. So I would like to hear what advice you would give to fellow young adults, native young adults who are in your situation, or what message would you tell to your younger self? So again, you can either give advice to other native young adults who are pursuing higher education, or what message would you give to your younger self? And then lastly, it's just the last one. Any shout outs you want to give? You want to shout out your mom, you want to shout out your friends, your cousins. It'll be a last shout out. So I'll start with you, Christy.
Ooh, such a good question. I'll give some advice because advice is always nice. To Native scholars out there, just keep going. Honestly, like you said, an educated Native is one of the most dangerous natives, and like we're resilient. And so if you keep going, your resiliency will push you just as it pushed our ancestors. And it's always important to find a good support system, whether it's your friends, family, other Native students in your community, either or, whatever works, a mix of everything. Do find that support system because it'll carry you a long ways. I mean, you become a family. And as for the shout out, I'll shout out to, I know my grandma, my Edgy is watching. So hi Edgy, and hi to the rest of my family who's also watching. Thank you for everything. And also thank you for CNAY for inviting me. We are Native, like a wellness institute. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for those words. Tava.
My advice would be, just keep going. You got to trust the process. You're gonna have times where you're gonna be overcoming adversity. You got to overcome that. You got to believe to overcome it. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. You may have some challenges with an assignment or anything else. Ask your students, or ask not students, classmates, teachers. Advisors, anything to get help with. Do it. Don't be hesitant about it. I also want to give a shout out to my mom, my pops. Then again, it's an honor to be here. So thank you for letting me be honored today.
And thank you for joining us. Great words, great words. Shay.
This is more towards like younger kids and like people going into college. I just say take advantage of free college classes, because I know when I was in high school, I did those college classes, but I didn't like finish them all the way. So I didn't get that credit and it didn't transfer over, and it was free. So just take advantage if their school does offer that. Same with like Running Start. I know they do that in Washington. So if you're a Washington resident, definitely do that. And I just want to shout out to my mom. I know she's watching. Love you, Mom. You're my rock. And I want to shout out all you other panelists and everyone here today and everyone watching. It's just an amazing experience, and I'm really glad I was here.
Awesome. Yeah. Great advice. Great advice, Shay. Isis.
So ask for help, take advantage of your free college classes. Even though it's online, like, yeah, that sucks. But honestly, like, I think that's what like set the pace for me to go to school and like make it easier, I guess, that I kind of already knew what was expected of me. And yeah, shout out to my mom and to Paige for texting me at 9 a.m. yesterday about this. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Ayana?
I just want to say, like, if you're a senior in high school or you're a freshman in college right now, this is just like a small bump in the road. Don't think like college is just going to be all online and like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go anymore, because it's going to be so different. You can get through it, and I mean, you will get through it. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I mean, in the end, you'll make it through and you'll succeed. I don't know if my mom's watching or if anybody's watching, but shout out to anybody who is watching that knows me. And if you don't know me, but you're from Robeson County and know about UNCP, I'm here.
Hey, awesome, awesome. Well, that is gonna wrap up our awesome power hour. And I just want to say, thank you to the Native Wellness Institute for hosting us on their Facebook Live. I want to thank, and shout out to Center for Native American Youth, the whole We Are Native team for the support and just the work that all these organizations that are doing, even those outside. I definitely want to shout out to you panelists for being amazing young leaders. You guys are going to do big things, and like I keep saying, we all are here for your support. I like how Tava and Isis said, reach out for help when it's needed. It's very hard to do, but if you need help, if you need any type of resources, I'm here. These organizations are here. People are behind you, whether you see them or hear them. They are behind you, and they have so many resources to offer. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And again, I love all of you. And so with that, I will say, I want to give a shout out to my mom. Love you, Mom, Twilight Teeman, my sister, Sarah, my beautiful fiance, Selena, and thank you all for joining. And that wraps up our panel. And we have another exciting panel Thursday and Friday. So please join us tomorrow and Friday. So with that, thank you.